Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We're gonna have fun tonight.
Inshallah. This man Jaffer is hilarious. Allah. Why is that your background? Like,
My Barshida.
money, 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 money.
She know how to get it, girl.
All right. Shout out to her. All right. If absolutely nothing else, man, if she took nothing else from her late husband, all right, she gonna tap in pockets as dry as she can, man. She's like, nothing, no stone if I turn. All right, I'm gonna shake you down.
Yeah, man, kids and everything. Goodness gracious.
Oh wait,
Mark's probably playing. I don't think I did it. Let me see. Make co-host. There you go.
All right, cool.
We're gonna get started in a few minutes. Everybody, just be patient. Waiting for our other co-host.
Yes, he's on the way. Let's see. Hey, I mean, we have been talking about like doing shows every 2 weeks, but for some reason we've had 3 shows this week. I mean, it kind of just like goes how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the last show was like 2-3 days ago. Jaffer was like, I'm sure something will happen in the time for 2 weeks in. What do you know? What do you know?
Yeah.
Y'all can help yourselves.
We're just gonna have to keep. We tried giving them a break, and then they just like go buck wild with the dumbness.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're on this thing. We're like trying to address every little bit of dumbness that comes out, as it comes out, so they don't feel like they're getting away with everything. But you know, every time they try to transgress against the people or something that the people should pay attention to, we're gonna try to address, inshallah.
Bro, what is this? Hold on.
Assalamu alaikum, Mubarak. All right. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله. الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Welcome everybody to the pop-up show. As you know, all of our shows are a little bit informal, but our pop-up shows are totally informal. But we have a pop-up show tonight, and we're going to address a few things. And we do these not because we want to. Again, we have very busy schedules. We have things to do, but for the poor people in TMOA that just keep on getting bamboozled, tricked, fooled, conned, oppressed, like we have to address these things so you guys can keep your eyes open to these things that are happening to you. So tonight we are going to address more money, I don't know what you call it, money laundering, money begging by Noor, the millionaire. We're going to address some of this some shirk things that were posted. We're going to try to correct some revisionist history that has come out. So there's a few things we got on deck. I don't know what we want to cover first.
Let's cover the message that Noor sent out to or had sent out to, because best believe if she's in charge of the Jamaat, they're not sending out these messages without her approval. So there was a message that was circling around, and it says, Assalamu alaikum. This is a reminder for all members of Ahmadabad West in regards to membership. So this is the Red House land in Virginia, which is my background. So it's fitting. Number one, the inconsistency in non-payment is unacceptable. All right. Number two, the age for payment of giving membership was lowered to age 16. All right. So even if you're not an adult in America, all right, whatever money you make helping out Brother Fulan, or delivering news, anything, all right, that is now being taxed. All right, so you have to get 10% of that if you were under the age of 18. It is no longer 23 or 24. Parents, if your child is employed part-time or full-time, please inform them. Elders receiving Social Security are required to give membership. So if you are over the age of 65, you have to give your Social Security check to Noor, some of it at least. If you're working in any capacity, it is your responsibility to inform me so you can begin to start paying your membership fees. I am not expected to know when people become employed or unemployed, and no one likes to be asked about their personal affairs, nor do we like to go about asking people, are you working now? However, these are persons who have become employed but are not paying the memberships. Please get on it ASAP. Those who continue to be negligent and consistent will be addressed. This is not being mean. This just in case, of course, of conducting our business properly. So she is making it known that that like the minimum age required for you to pay membership is now 16. It used to be 23, 24. And this is a clear-cut sign that, listen, that money is drying up, or at least the money that she had coming in. Because we know Noor has money. She has money sitting around. This is what the whole like lawsuit thing going on in Pakistan is. She has plenty of money, but the income is slowing down. So now she's taxing the older and the younger, right? And then she says in the final paragraph, "Hey, listen, this isn't about this isn't about anything else, but we are simply conducting our business, all right." So she's telling you as often as she can, and she'll be clear to you that, hey, listen, this is a business. This is really nothing else more. Like, you guys are, again, you're paying for the world's worst country club, all right? Because I've given past this place in the past month or so. It looks the same as when I was there. So the trailer parks are still there. The grass is unkept. The roads,
and none of that money is going to go to that. It's all going to pay the pockets of Noor and whoever else gets stipends. You know, whoever, like we seen in that little trailer that Fatima and Sarmad and I guess you can call it the Sultan crew, they put out a little trailer to the little documentary we're working on. And so for those of you who don't think that you pay for their lives, there's a text in there that verifies it. Noor threatens Mudasa that I'm going to take away your stipend if you keep taking clothes out my store or something like that.
Yep.
Right. So she's threatening that you're paying their stipends. None of this money is going to you. And let's I have a brief history. Well, it's not brief compared to some. Some have been involved with TMOA from the beginning, and they're still alive today. Right. So they know more of the history from it than I do. But since I've been involved with TMOA, at one point, people were paying 100% of all their income. That includes food stamps, Social Security, survivor benefits, anything. They were giving it all, right? That's one. At another point, it was 30% of all your income. Okay. Then at another point, it was 10% of all your income. And that's for the longest time, it's been 10%. And at another point, they clarified that it's not 10%, or the percentage doesn't come out of like your disposable earnings, like after you pay your bills and your necessities, food, utilities, and all the things that you need to live, then you take 10% out of what's left. No, you take 10%, you take your percent off the top. So 100%, of course, is everything. 30%, 10% off the top. So whatever's on your check, not what you actually received, because they take taxes and all that out of your gross check, you get 10, you pay 10% out of that. Okay. And they even clarified to say that, okay, people that get any type of income, people that get Social Security, right? And Social Security is built, people don't get rich off of Social Security. It is literally designed to give you enough money,
just to get
not even enough money to survive, right? To barely survive. People that were getting like inheritance, they were like, okay, we need some of that too. If you have any money coming in, we need some of that. To now where it's, you guys are so desperate, because what we'll see, and we can make the prediction now, is not only did they drop the age to 16, eventually they're going to raise the percentage up to 20, 30, 40, whatever percent. They'll find other ways. They may make it like a set fee. Everybody has to pay exactly this amount every month. They're going to try different ways to keep on extorting money from these people. And the fact that a 16-year-old who, like, the first job of like a 16-year-old will get is maybe working at McDonald's, fast food place, some kind of entry level minimum wage, where in the United States, they probably will make money, not even enough money to be taxed. They'll probably be exempt. They won't even have to pay taxes in the United States. They'll get it all back.
You will have to pay taxes to Noor, though.
but you have to pay taxes to Noor.
Yep.
I mean, you people really have to wake up. Like, imagine you being in a household where, you're trying to, we have a problem as African Americans in America, period, just uplifting our families, right? So you have the problems where, like, okay, you might be the first person to graduate from your family and get a good job. And then it's a struggle because you're trying to raise your level of life up and then your children and all that. But then imagine being hamstrung because 10% of your income is going literally to feed all these uneducated, non-working, no skills whatsoever in real life, not giving back to society at all to fund their lives. Yep. And then maybe you have a child who's like, I want to start working to learn responsibility. They're getting little checks, maybe $50, $60 here and there, working part-time, and they got to give, part of that money. And 10% might sound like a little bit of money, but let's look at it. The average cost of living in Virginia is $42,757 a year. Okay. So let's look at, according to the cost of living in Virginia, 10% of that is $4,200. Right? Okay. Average cost of housing utilities per year in Virginia is $8,535. That's half of a person's cost of living, or half of the percent they're paying to Noor. Right? Healthcare, $6,361. You're almost at the amount it costs for healthcare in Virginia that you're giving to Noor. Food is the big one. Food and beverage, non-restaurant. So this is food to just feed yourself and your family. Average is $3,538 per year. You're paying more to Noor than you are to pay yourselves and your families to feed yourself. So it's really sad. Y'all have to really wake up, and y'all have to stop giving her money.
So, I mean, sorry for my coming in late.
Oh, go ahead.
few housekeeping things before I jump in here. But so has anyone actually said, I mean, what exactly this is for? Now, I know in the past they have said, oh, it's for different things. And then they finally admitted that, yeah, it goes overseas to Gilani or whatever. We know that they're fighting about the money now, but I just wonder if we give them, or try to give them a little bit of credit, or has anyone said, because in this message, I'm really trying to look and see if it says this is for, your local community, running the local community, paying, the lights or the water, the trash bill, or, whatever, some sort of amenities that are being provided by the local jamaats or the lands or whatever. And then that's what it's for. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see that in this message. Nope. I don't see that it is for, some sort of anything specific, or even that it's for, something locally. But, and people can try to say, well, oh, they're uninformed. They don't know. No, listen, we grew up and we know how the thing runs. And so basically, whatever is the norm remains the norm until it changes, or until someone says, oh, it's not. So the norm is these money drives, these cash drives, and usually this was a very nice one, actually. This is one of the nicer ones that I have seen. Usually it's like, there's a threat of being suspended, kicked off the land, excommunicated, ostracized, boycotted, all those other things in there. So with no indication as to exactly what it means either, it was written that way on purpose so that, the real reason for why the money is being collected was not known, or the money is being collected for what it's always been collected for. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
So with that being said, this money is being collected what it's always been for. It's for the leader to do whatever they want to do with it. Now, Gilani was a leader, but he's dead. So the new leader is Noor, and Noor. So this money is being collected for Noor to decide on your behalf what to do with your money. So I mean, and so correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the case? I mean, do you see anything, or have you heard anything as far as this being for? Because I just want to start there first to make sure that what comes next is not out of line. Because I mean, even when you have just say if you have, even say if a person's on Social Security, they're given that money to then help them meet their needs, their needs, so that they can that gap between where they can't really pay for things for themselves, or people who are on food stamps, welfare, or whatever. It's so that they can pay for things. So maybe they have a land grocery store there where everyone comes and just is able to just basically grab whatever they want, and then every month you're just paying a certain amount, and that's like an amenity that they get. Like the groceries are free, or maybe they're providing the electricity. Maybe they're providing wood. They're cutting wood and then delivering it to people's homes for heating, and then they pay in for that or something. I don't know. I'm trying to help them right now, but I don't see anything. So just correct me if I'm wrong. Go ahead, Amr.
Well,
I think
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so the land grocery store, right, called Hamza's Market, right, on Sheikh Jelani Lane, right. So this was started by the Salam family, which is like Khalil's family and Didi, who ran the school and stuff. So this place, like there used to be a meat store like down here, ran by a different family. I think that's Basil's family, Buyer, who's in NFL now, right? So they had the meat store back here in Virginia, right? And then at the front of the land, Didi's family is like, nah, we're putting a shop right here. So they ran them out of business, right? And so the Hamza's Market became the like de facto like store for the land, where they sell like halal meats and stuff, but it's super overpriced. And I can assure you one thing for sure: you are getting no discounts. So
Social Security discount.
So don't even think about it. And I mean, really, like from what I'm reading, she just is like, listen, you guys aren't paying your dues, because like who's told us before, like he's talked to folks near the land, like I ain't paying her no money. All right, so this is probably what this is about, like, because at the end of the day,
well,
coming in.
If you look at the message, and so there's things that prompts messages like this, right? And usually it would be something like, okay, if it was going to something like whether it's like a community, like maybe it's the masjid utility bill, or like a something that's going to help the community, right? Some kind of expense they need to pay, whether it's like taxes, utilities, who knows, whatever it is. In a message that they actually need the money to collect it for, they would mention like, hey, our lights are about to get cut off. Y'all need to pay y'all percent, right? So that if it was for anything that would actually benefit them, they would mention that, because it would actually encourage more people to pay. Like, oh yeah, I better pay that because my family relies on this, or the land relies on this, or our community relies on this, right? So there's nothing mentioned like that. And two, I don't know if we had the pick, but whenever we know this from being involved in the community, whenever there's periodic, like, I guess you can call them like gold rushes, right? Where they put the pressure on, like, everybody needs to pay. Being in New York, we knew this always timed up with someone's about to go overseas, right? So they wanted to make sure they had enough money to meet their quota to send it with these people to pay Mubarik Gilani. So we just seen a picture where they're like inviting people to come sing nasheeds with Noor. She's coming to the land. So
wait, Jaffer, this actually is not on the land. They're not even like this. This is not actually on the land. I'm pretty sure, because everything on the land is like Sheikh Jelani Lane. I'm pretty sure this is like next to the land, but it's not actually on the land. So like they're not even having it like in the masjid or at someone's house. It's actually, or it's not on the land at least. So they're not even having it on the land.
So yeah, so they have this invite, like it's like a celebrity get together, come see Noor. But so it times out perfectly. Is okay, Noor's coming to town. We got to make sure. It's kind of like, you watch those movies where like the Yakuza or the Mafia, they get paid to protect the stores, right? And so like you see the Mafia coming down, they're coming down to your little meat shop and they want their cut for protection. Noor, the mafia or the Yakuza, the gangsters coming into town, and they have to make sure that they have their limit to give to Noor their stack of money.
I wonder if she's gonna lead the Juma also. Because it says after Juma, so I wonder if she's gonna. Because remember that video we watched with the sister leading the prayers and stuff. I wonder if Noor's gonna take her time to like go over the range, like this is my time to cover it.
I wonder if she's gonna participate in the so she doesn't lead it. I wonder if she's gonna follow someone in Salat, or would she be like the rest of the admin who kind of like doesn't attend, sits in their houses?
I mean, she's a girl, so she doesn't really have to attend the Juma. So I guess she could use that. But she's gonna be online anyway, so I don't know what else she'll be doing.
Yeah. But I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. Like 16-year-olds, you're having teenagers, children pay into this corrupt system, and I hope none of them are dumb enough to do this. I hope they say, Umi, Abu, no, I'm not giving any money to these people. I don't even know them. I mean, let's be real. You don't know them, and they don't give two craps about you.
Okay, so sorry about that. I apologize. I had to deal with something real quick. I'm back. Okay. So now being that this is just much of the same, much of the norm, let's start from the ground floor. What does Allah say? Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, it says He tells you who you should spend your money on, right? He says who your spending should be فِلِلْ وَالِدَيْنِ, for your parents. This is the money, because they're asking Rasulullah, and this is where we start. This is where we start and end. This is where we begin and we end. So for anyone is trying to think, okay, we got this message, they're asking for money, we can come to the conclusion that they're asking for money for what they normally ask money for, is that they have some money that they send to the leader, who is now Noor. But Allah says that يسألونك ماذا ينفقون. They asking Rasulullah, what should we spend? Who should we spend on? And Allah tells them, فَلِلْوَالِدَيْنِ وَالْأَقْرَبِينَ, your parents and those close to you. So those are the people who have the most right for you to spend your money on them if they are in need. Okay. And so then after that, وَالْيَتَامَ, those orphans that are closer to you or not closer to you, but orphans, people who don't have people over them that can spend on them. And then what else? وَالْمَسَاكِينَ, and the poor people in general. And Ibn as-Sabil, the traveler, the wayfarer, the person who's kind of, traveling from one place to another, and they usually need money, resources, help, whatever the case may be. That is who you give your money to. Mm-hmm. So off the rip, if you people are not doing that, if there are any people in your community who need money, anyone, you can't send any money to this thing. Full stop, because Allah told you what you should do. Yep. Your parents, if any of your parents are in need of, day-to-day necessities, or rent, food, help, housing, transportation, whatever the case may be, if you're not doing that, you're wrong. Not because of what I said, but Allah says. Number two, if anyone close to you, your children, your relatives, cousins, aunts, uncles, people you're related to, family ties, any of those people, and you are sending money out of your communities, outside of your families, outside of your homes, before that, you're wrong. If you have any people in your community who are poor, and based on the message, you do, because you have people that they are even saying for your grandma's Social Security check, they want it. Your granny, who basically, is dependent on that, she's on fixed income, and they're saying, fix your income in our pockets. You know what I mean? We're not trying to hear nothing about your fixed income, even if, and they specified, even if they said elders. How first of all, how can the person type this or write it, dictate it? Maybe they use voice, recognition. I don't know what they did, but how can you say it out of your mouth with a straight face? elders receiving Social Security are required to give membership. I mean, I would be, it would be hard for me to write that with a straight face without like.
How many stories have we heard of like elders on Social Security eating like cat food to survive?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't know.
Really should be ashamed of themselves. It's really should be ashamed of themselves. And like what you said about like, and the way that Allah has set it up, it's so perfect, because like even like modern economists try to like figure this out, but Allah has it so perfect, because when you keep the money internal, it actually multiplies, right? If anybody's taking like a basic economics course, when you keep money, like when you give it to your parents, those close to you, within your own community, right? This is why even in Islam, like zakat is so little, right? Because it boosts your economy, it boosts your standard of living, it boosts everything. Every time that it transfers internally, it actually multiplies. But you guys are giving it external, because let's face it, Noor is not a part of your community. She don't live with y'all. She don't share the same experiences with y'all. She don't share nothing with y'all. Her or her family, none of them Gilanis do. They live a totally separate life from y'all and don't contribute to your community. They just benefit from it. But now you're asking from the grandmas to the babies, we want your money.
Yeah. So I mean, and the most egregious thing is definitely you're trying to get the elders who are receiving Social Security to give up their checks. Which I mean, that's agreed. These people should be getting social. They should be getting something from you. These people who y'all claim, oh, the founding mothers and fathers, XYZ, they should be receiving something similar to Social Security from the Jamaat for all the years they put in. See, this is a bunch of fluff, and it's a bunch of phony baloney in how y'all say, oh, the founding mothers and fathers and XYZ, when the government, pays them for their service, for their time put in, for their dues put in, but you don't give them nothing. Actually, you're taking from them. I mean, that's a joke, man. That's actually that's embarrassing, and it's shameful. It's shameful, actually.
And we have stories of individuals, like I can think of multiple elders up here in New York where their houses are literally falling apart around them, right? Elders that are like in their house sick for weeks, no one's seen them, no one checks up on them. And these are the people that you're supposed to be, the founding, like you said, the founding fathers and mothers, and we're going to honor them and respect them and this and that. And these people are literally dying alone, poor, on your watch. People that literally built this community. And then when they die, you can't even afford to bury them. So you go to some other Muslim community to ask them, hey, can you help us bury this individual and find us a spot to bury them, because they pissed off Gilani at the end of their life and they can't be buried on our land. So we need to know, y'all ain't real Muslims, but I'm saying, can we use your graveyard just a little bit? Ridiculous.
I mean, this is the inconsistency and non-payment is unacceptable.
Yep.
I mean, it's unacceptable. Do you realize that most of the people in the Jamaat, for sure, but lots of the people, and let's be real, your community is made up of predominantly African American or Americans of African descent, or whatever you want to classify as, a bunch of brown people, black people, whatever you want to say. And they are, number one, not, most of them are on the poverty line or below, and some outliers here, for the most part, they're pretty much in that range of, either in the range of people who probably are going to be eligible to receive food stamps, or very close. So that's number one. So you don't know your own people. So first of all, the inconsistency in non-payment is unacceptable. These are people, for the most part, who are going to be inconsistent and have payment issues with any bill they might have.
Yep.
So for you to say it's unacceptable is being brain dead. You don't know your own people. These are people who, for the most part, are needing assistance from outside of their families and homes. They're actually needing assistance to come into their pockets, not out. That's why they're inconsistent, and sometimes they don't pay at all, is because they don't have the money. They actually don't have the money. There's some needs that are not being met. And for you not to realize that and say it's unacceptable, how do you know? Do you, I mean, are you now, maybe you are privy to their finances or whatever, but to say it's unacceptable, I think is not really being able to read the room properly and realize you're dealing with people who have incomes and a financial situation that's in flux for sure. Most of them are paycheck to paycheck, if not, just 2 paychecks away from, with a handout asking for money. I mean, you're even getting you're getting the flavor of it by the message when they say, when they realize, people are not telling you when they're starting work or if they started back working again. The type of people who have a job today, next week they're off work, they don't have a consistent job. These are the type of people you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So there's a certain type of people, they are always going to be employed. I mean, you're not going to be like, if you heard their name, you'll be shocked if it said, oh, yo, so is not working. Like, I don't want to use anybody's name. I'll use Jaffa, for instance. If we just happen to find out Jaffa's wife or someone was like, yeah, Jaffa hasn't been working for a couple of weeks now. And we'd be like, what? Like, it would be shocking. Like, no, he's a person who goes to work. It don't matter what job it might be, but he's going to have a job or some way of making money. That's just certain type of people are going to be people who work. And some type of people are going to be people. We grew up with all of them. I mean, that's just how they are. They are going to keep a job for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or whatever, get some sort of short-term satisfaction out of it, or, meet some need that they have immediate. And then they're going to not have that job. Either they're going to quit or they're going to get fired. They're not going to care that much about it. And then they just kind of cycle through jobs. Some people are like that. These are the people who are making up your community, and you don't realize that. I mean, this is what you're dealing with. You're dealing with people with inconsistent incomes and inconsistent payment, and they're inconsistent in a lot of their finances anyway. And those inconsistencies should actually be filled in by the community, by the government, how that the national government does, as in they give people food stamps or welfare, or they give them Social Security or whatever they might need to fill in those gaps. So.
And it's really sad when you look at this, that we look at Islam, like compare everything to the Quran and Sunnah. Don't use your own logic and try to compare it to, like, well, Christians collect tithes and it's, don't compare it to that. Okay. Because one, in most religious groups, when they collect money, whether it's fees, tithes, or whatever you want to call it, there's an accounting for it. You can go and say, hey, where did all of our money go? Where did our hundreds of thousands of dollars that you've collected over the last year, what did you use it on? Did you use it to fix the church? Did you use it to fix the roads? You can go and see that. When you can't see that, that means there's corruption going on, right? Or you're part of a cult, which we know this is. Secondly, when we look at the Holy Quran and Sunnah, Mubarak gave the breakdown of what you're supposed to spend your extra money on. And for you parents that are going to go, because the elders, most of you guys are brainwashed. You're going to just give up your money and starve or whatever, which is going to cause a trickle effect, because then your kids are going to have to pick up the slack, which gives them even less money because they have to give their money too. Anyway, this is not zakat. This money is not zakat. It's very clear. We have emails from Noor that clarifies and specifies that this money is not zakat. Okay, because zakat is 0.05%, I think, right? Or 0.25%, something.
Yeah.
0.25. Yeah, something small. So it's not zakat. So when you're trying to convince, like, especially these teenagers, hey, I need your money, son, and you gotta, give up, and they're gonna ask why. They're gonna ask, where is it going? What does it happen for? And you're gonna say something stupid like, it's to purify your wealth. No, that's zakat. Or are you gonna try to say, oh, it's charity? Okay. Then I guess we're gonna accept that the Gilanis aren't Ahl Bayt, because Ahl Bayt can't accept charity. So what is it? Which road you're gonna go down? Or are you gonna accept that you guys are their cash cows and they're milking y'all, and They're trying to get a little extra. They're even trying to get from the baby cows now, and the old shriveled up cows, waiting to die in the pasture. They want it all, and it's kind of timely that Noor is being pressured by her. I don't know what you call them. Her family, her ex-family, lawsuits. She has multiple properties that she's fighting for, and now there's a push to get more money. Maybe it's for these lawyers. Maybe it's because she has extra expenses. Maybe because her money's tied up in legal drama that she can't spend it and needs it to run her businesses. Who knows? But the bottom line is, stop falling for this stuff. We Mubarak touched on this in one of the previous shows. They can't kick you off the land.
Yep.
They can't. They can't do nothing to y'all. If they try to kick you off the land, call the cops. And nothing will happen. You'll get some dirty looks. Maybe someone might try to flatten your tire in your driveway or something. But other than that, they can't kick you out of your house.
Oh man.
Yeah, they can't do anything. And I mean, look, they're saying that okay, the age for payment, given mention, was lowered to age 16. It's no longer 23 or 24, which that's random number, 23 or 24. But so it's at 16, and it says, look at who wrote this. If your child is employed part-time or full-time, please inform them. I mean, are y'all trying to get locked up? I mean, like you literally are saying if your child is employed, that we need that money. Basically, run them pockets. Not only we running your pockets, but we're running your kids' pockets too. It's like, I mean, this is wild, man. I mean, this is wild. Your child
does a newspaper route, maybe mows lawns.
Yeah, turn him upside down and take his little money here.
Oh
it's
gosh.
Like, I mean, and so look at this. Why has the age been lowered from 23 or 24 to 16? Because that money drying up. Yep. The money is drying up. Now it's not just they're not just looking for the people in the middle, the breadwinners, the real breadwinners. Yep. But now it's like the people who ain't the breadwinners snatching Granny's Social Security check. Just and listen, and if they coming for her arrears too, her back pay. Oh yeah, they'll take her whole check. Be like, just give us that. Just deposit it right into this account at send it to the Cash App. Noor, 7 Sultan at cashapp.com or whatever. They're gonna take everything you got. And the people in the middle, the sweet spot where we get all money from, the money makers, they basically is like, yeah, either we ain't paying or they're gone. Yeah. And then you have the people who literally a 16-year-old, probably that's his first little job, first check. They're like, as soon as you get it, as soon as you get that check, come this way. I mean, it's like, what are you teaching your kid? You're indoctrinating them early, and you're desperate. Yeah. So you're trying to get the pennies from the people at the top and the people, all the way at the bottom, to make up for why you're not getting the money in that you need. What was the message I said before? We have no money to run. We do not have any money to run the Jamaat.
Yep.
That's what the girl said in the previous message, right? We have no money to run the Jamaat. Why? When you got to lower the number, it's because obviously. And so this fake, after 40 years of perfect guidance by a perfect Murshid and blah, 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 you're literally worse off than even some little, ghetto churches or whatever run their joint better than this, where, I mean, they at least have, can run their operation. You got a previous message from the leader when she said they have no money whatsoever to run the Jamaat. And then you got people that literally are trying to take, the weakest amongst you, trying to strong arm them for their money. Mm-hmm. So you got to look at yourself and say, hold up, we got to stop fooling ourselves and know that after a 40-year run, this is actually what you've been taught. This is the fruit of what you've been living and running on the whole time. So when you are running on fear and being afraid of being ostracized, afraid of being kicked out, afraid, at one point in time, is even afraid of being killed. But now, what the problem is that nobody's really scared. More people have just been like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not paying. Just like in the message said, some of you are just you're inconsistency and non-payment. So people are just like, yo,
yeah,
I'm not paying. And and you know, it's like it's unacceptable. You're actually gonna have to accept it. So
listen,
I mean,
the smart ones, I mean, we know our people, our ex people. The smart ones heard $5 million. The first time they heard $5 million, it was like
that's it.
Nah,
wrap it up.
Never again. I ain't giving them a dime. I'm not paying an E fee. I'm not paying a road tax. I'm not doing nothing. $5 million.
Yeah, talking about it's unacceptable. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's over. I mean, listen, when you don't have no money to run your government, your Jamaat, your organization, and you're literally you're getting down into strong arming the children into working. I mean, that's one of the signs of societal collapse. Yep. You're forcing the kids to work.
Child labor. Go to the coal mines, kids.
Yeah, I mean that's a strong indication that what you have been doing, just organizationally, as far as just the organization. I mean, we can get into the religious aspect. I think we've done that very well. Just the organization is a complete disaster. It's a dumpster fire right now. I mean, that is the definition of what's going on. It's a complete dumpster fire. That's a dumpster that has trash in it that also has a fire in it. So if anyone doesn't understand that.
Let's go another level. Like, so remember, like, because Mubarak Gilani is solely responsible for producing all these doctors and lawyers, right?
Engineers, yes.
Right. So is there like a TMOA scholarship fund that I'm not aware of? Because like any kid working at 16 is solely working just for a little bit of extra cash here and there, maybe saving for like school or college, or possibly marriage.
Yeah,
you know, like, I want to. So maybe like if they give to this percentage, like when they get accepted to a college, so they can become a doctor, or a lawyer, engineer, you know, according to their perfect Morshid Kamil's instruction, maybe there's like some money that Nora will give them to help facilitate that. Is anybody aware of any scholarship fund?
I am aware that you can attend IQU University online and get your degree there. Your master's in Shaykh teachings. All right. It's like a retreat, but like more exclusive. All right. So if you or anyone's looking for that, that's clearly where your money should go.
Does so interesting. Now, does any of Mubarak Gilani's children attend that university?
Do any of his children play? His children play percentages at all?
That is, you know what? Now that I just think about it,
listen, Sultan go to Oneana University or something?
A light bulb just went off. Hold up. So, I mean, is Sultan or any of those people, have they informed you that because I know you say you don't know whether it's unacceptable, and you don't need to be chasing after people, basically trying to figure out when they're employed or unemployed or whatever. So has Sultan or any of those guys let you know when they lost their job, or if they ever had one, or if they're working now, or whatever? I think y'all should check on that, because I mean, who knows how much money he could be making? I mean, I'm sure he has some sort of income. Maybe you can take a percentage of Sultan's income.
But then that would just be money she's already giving him.
Exactly.
Wait, does Rolex girl have a job? Does she earn any money? Does she
have a job?
percent?
See, this is the thing, is that I wonder now, are y'all really proud youth of TMOA now at this point? You're like, damn, maybe this channel would be a proud youth of TMOA now taking our money. Like if that channel receives any monetization, 10%. actually, she might take all the money from the proud youth of TMOA channel, brother.
You got $20.
Also, I think it's funny, like you brought up the fact that does any of them attend IQOU? I mean, you got your own college that is based on, we're actually just trying to hide the fact that it was based on Gilani's teachings, but it's based on the teachings of this Mujaddid of the century, their own dad, and none of them are enrolled. I mean, are they even on the faculty?
But they should be teachers, really, right?
Really,
like,
professors, especially Noor.
Yeah, well, he's going to Azhar first, and then
Well, he's already declared that he's not an A1 top
He's not a
notch.
top shop. Not
Okay.
a top shop Muslim. He's a
Yeah.
spiritualist. He's a spiritualist.
Yes.
But
Whatever that
wait a
means.
minute. So can you pull up because
Account?
here's the thing. So pull up the fictitious summit of souls.
Okay. All right. So I read this and it was one of the most annoying things I've read, like probably in a long while. Anyway, it's right here. Okay. So this is 1982, California, documented, blue heart emoji 3 times, right?
Oh my gosh.
The Muslims came to California. It made the hijrah, and Allah rewarded us on the Eid al-Fitr. Outdoors, we heard the khutbah, and on the grass, we made salat with Sheikh Gilani. Before us, whom we love a whole lot. The khutbah he gave brought tears to all the eyes, and the brothers saw the hawks flying in the skies. They came to bear witness to what they had just seen. The 6th Sultan of Fukr, with all the is that Mujahirin?
Muhajirin. Yeah.
Okay. Muhajirin. I'll never forget the day. It was July 22. All the prophets and the angels and the too had come to hear the Sheikh say in the khutbah, "Oh Mujahideen, oh Muhajirin, Ansar." The brothers all cried, "Who?" And he continued just the same. Blessed you are, blessed you shall be, and blessed you shall remain. He explained to us exactly what had just done. Jesus Christ. Out of all the this was the longest one. If a Muslim does not stop evil as he lives in a town, the angel Jibreel will come to turn it upside down. From one who was left speechless, as I sat among the ranks, all the praises to Allah, and him do I give the thanks. Okay. All right.
Where do we even start with this? Oh my goodness. So first, let's just talk about, because this is all everybody trying to reminisce and trying to bring up this, because what's happening is, let's look at it in a macro sense. We see the effect that alhamdulillah Allah has allowed us to make on TMOA. They're going broke. People are leaving in droves. The people that aren't leaving are there, but they kind of like mentally and spiritually like left, like I ain't really with this anymore, right? It's like a known joke that the belief system and activities of TMOA is just nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
But the people that stay there aren't ready to make that step because they hate R2F or they don't want to admit their mom, whatever. It's in the crapper, like you said, it's a dumpster fire. Then you have we basically made them silent. They can't even respond to anything we say. The only way they respond is by trying to either do what we say that they're not going to do, right? Yeah. Like the whole charity thing in Pakistan. They're like, oh, shoot, we got to actually go get involved with these people and then post that. So they did it the next day. Alhamdulillah. May Allah accept that from them if they're sincere. Then you have them trying to, you have this, now they're creating like these little contents. You had the historical whatever page.
Yep.
Then you have this youth TMOA page coming up.
The elder page.
They're the elder page, and they're like post like about the first Maulad and the longest Hijra and all these different things. And everybody's reminiscing. And they're trying to bring back this nostalgia stuff or the same tactics that pretty much brainwashed them and the tricks that got them. However, it is not going to work. I want you to sit down in front of some common sense youth and tell them the story about how all the angels and all the prophets supposedly went to California to hear Mubarik Gilani speak when no one in the history of mankind has ever traveled to hear Mubarik Gilani speak besides the few handful of people in TMOA.
Yep.
But the angels, like what happened here
at his funeral?
Exactly. Where's all the angels and the prophets and humans that went to his janazah?
Oh,
right. He had like 20 people there. And, and the hawks were flying around. The hawks, they were turkey buzzards. The only animal that circles around in packs are turkey buzzards and vultures. Hawks are single predatory animals. They don't hang out with each other.
Okay, so I mentioned this in the chat when it was posted, right? This is the type of foolishness that the people from the Jamaat will post. and expect us to take this seriously and not laugh from the show. Did you read that out loud and think to yourself, all the prophets, all the mujahideen, all the Ansar, they're gonna come listen to a man speak broken English in California, and this wasn't even like when they had the California land. This is probably in Compton, so they're gonna come to Compton, California, with Crips and Bloods and listen to a speech from some random Pakistani guy they don't know. Just randomly.
All the Moses were like, "You understand him?"
Yeah, it's like
I didn't hear what he said.
It wasn't like he was speaking in Arabic, because he was definitely speaking English, because the people in the Jamaat, for a majority of y'all don't know English. And so they're gonna come listen to him speak his broken English to them. Like, Mubarak posted a photo of a sheikh, a scholar, a teacher. He had like 100,000 folks there listening or for his janazah, right? Mubarak Gilani had more flies there than he had human beings for his janazah, all right? And you guys expect me to believe that he was this great person? This great, like, because
let's go back to, like, again, Mubarak Gilani always tries to steal stuff and make it like his. So what this reminds me of is when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went on Isra wa Miraj,
yep,
and he went to Masjid al-Aqsa, and all the prophets were there, and he led them in salat. So we had, this is one of the greatest miracles of all time. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam traveling from Mecca to Jerusalem in the same night, leading all the prophets, 124,000 prophets in salat, and then ascending to the heavens with Angel Jibrail. And you want us to believe that something similar happened to anybody else. Like, let's be real, to anybody else, let alone Mubarak Gilani, that all the prophets came and they, like, this is, so let's look at this. One of the things of Isra, when Rasulullah led the prophets in salat, was to signify or show mankind the status of Rasulullah, right? Because he led them all in salat. Who's the person leading salat or leading people when they're given the khutbah? That's the leader. That's the imam. So you're telling me all the prophets, including Rasulullah, were sitting there being led by Mubarak Gilani?
Wait,
the hell he has to say.
But Jafar, you missed the part where it says that he is the sixth sultan of Fukr. All right, so according to them, he is Allah. All right, so technically, from their point of view, Allah let everyone into lot, because Mubarak Gilani, according to his teachings and beliefs in the sixth sultan of Fukr, seventh sultan of Fukr, he's supposed to be Allah in human form. He's one of the seven sparks of Allah's Lord directly. All right, so and this is why I have like a tough time with the old heads, is because y'all know this didn't happen. Y'all were there for this and know it. Like, I don't care what drugs you're on, you know this didn't happen. All right. And so for you to come out 40 years later and share these accounts and these stories knowing it didn't happen is actually insane to me. Like, why are you holding on to this? Who are you afraid of? He's not here anymore. He's not gonna come kill you. I promise you, Mubarak Gilani is not coming out to put a hit on anyone. All right, he's dead.
And here's the big danger of this, because we know the hadith where Rasulullah says, there's multiple hadiths where Rasulullah says, like, take your place in the hellfire if you lie about me, like lie about what I said, if you lie about what the Quran says or means, right? There's also hadith about, I don't remember exactly, but it's a very bad, whether you're cursed or go to hell, whatever, for like lying about even like seeing Rasulullah in a dream, right? And you actually didn't. I don't know what category this falls under, but you guys are propagating this, and y'all know, like Amr said, I don't want to challenge y'all to do this, because some of y'all dummies would do it, right? But really sit back and think, which one of y'all saw all these people? Which one of y'all saw 124,000 prophets and how many angels? Which one of y'all saw Angel Jibrail, right? Like, did he come in his human form?
I mean, it's like that situation where one person is saying that they saw XYZ, and then they just keep saying it, and then you don't really believe it, but then you kind of just like, you hear it so much that then you you put an image in your mind of what happened, and then after a while, it's like, you know, you're kind of repeating it. You know, you were there, but really, if they really sit down and think about it really hard, did I see a messenger? Forget about, not, it doesn't even have to be Rasul. Did you see any messenger? Any of them? What did he look like? Describe it. What was he wearing? You know, anything. If you actually just break it down like that, they will know, actually, you know what? I actually didn't see anything. It's just a story that was told over and over again. And it's probably people that said they were there that weren't. It's probably people, you know, that were there but were asleep, or were, you know, in the bathroom, or were there but didn't see anything. And then they just probably felt so, you know, out of place when other people's talking about who were there, what happened. They're like, yeah, that's what happened. And then after 40 years, maybe you start believing it. I mean, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, because that's human nature sometimes. But at this point, I mean, you got to be, do you think you're going to be in a group, in a gathering, in which not only Rasul, but you have Musa, Isa, Ibrahim, Nuh alayhi salam, and all the, and you're speaking? I would shut my mouth immediately. These are the people who should be speaking. How the arrogance of a person that you're running your mouth? Really? They came to hear you? What did they come for? I mean, that would be the most ridiculous thing. I would be like, yo, excuse me. This is Rasul. I would not have known anything that was said by anyone else. If Rasul is in front of me, I can see him. I'm out. I'm going straight to Rasul. I don't care what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, look about, like, we know about the in situations in the Sirah, like when Abu Bakr was leading Salat and Rasul came, and Rasul even told him, like, no, like, go ahead and finish. He's like, nah, that ain't happening. Like, it's not befitting for me to lead the Salat when you're here. So it's befitting for, you know, we know that Abu Bakr is the best Muslim besides Rasul sallallahu, number one, right? But Mubarak Ali Gilani, I'm gonna give these kubbah to all these prophets. I got this, you know. And then he refers to everybody as the Muhajirun and the Mujahideen and the Ansar. Okay, Mujahideen and Ansar, they aren't the same. They're not the same people, right? You're either a Muhajir or you're an Ansar.
This man both. Yeah, he literally just took a story from the Sirah, cookie cut it, flipped it around a little bit, told them it was for them, and did a hodgepodge. And these people didn't know. They didn't know the religion. They maybe they might have been familiar with it, but just like the sister last week, who she said that she was an Islamic studies teacher, and then she literally had to chuck all the stuff that she was teaching basically to the side, because Gilani was coming and saying stuff that was different than that. But she never actually came and said, well, I verified that, you know, what he said was in Sahih Bukhari or Muslim or the Quran, the Sunnah, something like that. She just realized that, wow, you know, how were you ever an Islamic studies teacher? How did you start teaching Islamic studies? From what? What sources? So were you teaching from authentic sources? If you were, the burden of proof is on him to prove to you why you should change anything that you're doing. If you're teaching from the Quran, from the Sunnah, and from the authentic, sources of Islam. So how you Islamic studies teacher, you're teaching Islam from the sources of Islam, and you're going to change that up because some Indian dude shows up talking, in some broken English, and you're changing everything up because you felt, I didn't get a chance to jump on the show last week. So let me just interject something here.
No, go ahead.
Everybody, if you go in a Hindu temple right now, somewhere, someone is feeling in their heart the strongest feeling. They're feeling God. They're feeling whatever. They're crying. They're in tears. They have an emotion. They are feeling it and thinking this is the right way. If you go in the Christian churches, we're familiar, very familiar. We've seen them. Seen my own grandmother. I mean, literally how emotional and tied in. And the iman, the faith that they have in their religion is so strong. It's deep, very emotional. They get high off of it. The point is, every single religion, every single faith, every single ideology, the people who follow it with conviction feel the same way. They feel like you feel.
Yep.
The difference is that feeling, if it's based on evidence, the truth, Allah says, on bayyinah, on clear proof and evidences, these things from Allah, you know it's from Allah, then that feeling carries you all the way through.
Yeah.
But you cannot base on whether something is right or wrong based on how you felt. It's subjective. It's so everyone can feel something else. I could be reciting a surah and, it might, I'm, and my mind could be on something else. Jafar could be hearing the same exact thing and his heart is filled with the awe of Allah, whatever. Does that mean, what does that mean? Does it mean it's right, it's wrong? What does it mean? No, the Quran and the Sunnah and the religion of Islam is set. It is what it is. It doesn't change based on how you feel about it. And if you're going to change your beliefs, your actions based on some feeling and not based on the evidence and the facts, you'll be led astray. And that's how you got led astray. You got led astray based on following your feelings and your desires. And Allah says every time, actually, I don't know if this was posted in the chat or if I saw it someone else, but every time the desires are mentioned, your feelings, and it's always mentioned in a negative way in Quran. Like, if you follow your desires, you'll be led astray. Allah says, don't follow your desires where you feel. I have a feeling I want to do this. No, you follow the truth. You follow the haqq. You follow the evidences. It's clear. Allah makes it clear. Follow that. And then it can take you to the proper way, the proper understanding. But if you're just, you are teaching based on the correct understanding, and then something else gives you a feeling, and then you follow and chase that. How many times have you been just sitting at a light or whatever, and then maybe a song from the past or some, whatever comes on, somebody's playing it, or might be a song that you don't even know anything about. You're not listening to music anymore, but it's catchy and it gives you a feeling. You start almost tapping your foot or bobbing your head or whatever, subconsciously.
I was going to mention that. That's a perfect example is music. Like, just imagine you got Islam, you hear a lecture, a Holy Quran, and it's guidance. It's pure guidance from Allah, right? From the Holy Quran. You can hear a song and it will affect. That's what music does. It taps into your emotions, right? It's scientifically proven. Like, you don't even have to even know the song, whatever. It taps into your emotions. It makes you feel a certain way. That's why people are so addicted to music, right? When athletes, before they go out to, do their sport, fight, basketball, football, they listen to something that's going to get them hyped and excited and feel like they're on top of the world, right? Someone breaks up, boyfriend, girlfriend, they go listen to a song that's going to tap into those emotions. This is why they have songs in movies and all these different things. It's a whole thing. It's a very crafty trick by Shaitan. But and there's a hadith related to this where and you can help me out with the exact wording, but Rasul talks about those who basically have the gift of speech, right? Because they could sway people with their speech, and he refers to it sort of like a type of magic almost, right? Yes. And that's exactly what happened to y'all. And Mubarik Gilani knew how to sway y'all emotions, right? Because I imagine sitting there hearing a khutbah, and now you're at the point where like you're gonna believe everything this guy says, right? And he tells you like you're the best Muslims of all time. You're gonna feel like, oh wow, your emotions are gonna. All the prophets and angels are all around you, all like listening to us, and they're with you. And Bilal comes to visit you, and I could take you right to the courts of Rasul. Something that's going to affect you emotionally. Nothing based on anything from any proof, but you're going to follow it because it makes you feel good, just like music does. And that, it is, but we know it's totally misguidance.
I'm gonna give him an example. I don't know if I gave this before or not, but I'm gonna give you an example. And listen, some people might get triggered by this, but this is just the reality. The men will know and understand this. And actually a lot of the women will know and understand this too, unless you're one of those women. But it's like the guy who he needs something, right? He wants a free, large fry from McDonald's or whatever. He goes in there. He compliments the girl on the fry station or the girl at the register. She's not pretty. She's not cute. Not to him. But compliments her. Or you even the ones where, you know, you have the girl who everyone will tell her, this guy is a player. He doesn't know. No, he's using you. He's using you for your car. He needs something from you. He wants XYZ, but he's really not. I mean, he's telling you the most beautiful girl in the world, and he's like high gassing your head up. And like, she has a mirror. She has to know, listen, I'm not the prettiest girl in the world. I'm not. But I like the way it makes me feel when he says it. So what does she do? Yes, take my car. She gives him the fries at the extra fries at McDonald's or whatever it might be. Yep. So basically, what TMOA was the girl who was not that pretty, and a guy came and told him, you're great, you're wonderful, you're everything. And you believed it because you liked the way it made you feel. I remember when we were told you're higher than angels. I thought to myself, I thought we already were, but I mean, that must be good. So yeah, we're we're on it. You know, we're on it. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're something. You know, this group is going to be the only group that's going to be together in Jannah. You don't know no better, so you're thinking, wow, we really are special. We used to look down at other Muslims like, y'all niggas is off of it. You know, y'all really, y'all don't have it together. But that's what it was. It's just like the dude who finesses the girl. And sometimes girls do it to men too. I mean, it does happen, yeah. But I mean, so that's what it is. You got a feeling from someone who you thought you wanted that type of attention or whatever from, and they gassed your head for 40 years, you know, and got you to the point where you're basically stuck. So anytime someone is saying, nah, this is not it, this person is not who they say they are, they're not, you're not really that. So basically what we're telling them, from their perspective, I feel like what they're hearing is that you ain't really all that. You were told you were the prettiest girl in the world, but you're really not. You're just average. You were told you were the best people. You were told you were the best community. Yeah, you were told that you were the best people in all of mankind, and that, you know, Rasulullah loves you, your specific trailer park community, more than anyone else. And for us to come and tell you, no, you're really not anything special at all. Actually, you're backwards and you're wrong. Yeah, they don't want to hear that. It hurts. Yep. But the truth hurts. And that's the situation. He wasn't anyone to begin with. He got his money. He spent it. And then he died. And now someone else is trying to do the same thing, you know?
And now you also, with that, you also have to throw in the fact that, okay, they don't want to lose that special status and all that they believe, but you have people who have literally died for this, killed for this, robbed, like all these different things for this. People that have now, like, we're going to multiple generations, their parents and their loved ones have died upon this. And I was talking to one individual, and one of the main things that she kept going back to is that her mother passed away, and Gilani told her that she was in paradise and all these different things. So to let go of that falsehood of Gilani, you have to let go of that idea that everybody wants to believe, that their parents are like in a good place after they pass away. But as Muslims, we know that we don't know. That's why we make dua for them. That's why we become good Muslims, so they can get credit for raising a good Muslim child and all these different things. But a lot of these people don't want to face the harsh reality. And this is really why we do what we do, is that some people did not die in a good light because they died upon this falsehood. And that's the reality of it. And hopefully our hope is that maybe Allah will give them some leeway for ignorance or whatever. We don't know. We don't know how Allah is going to deal with it. Maybe they didn't understand the falsehood. Maybe they didn't actually really fully believe in the shirk. Maybe. We don't know. But going forward now, there's no excuse for anybody for any of this stuff, right? Now is the time for all of you guys to say, you know what? We have to put our foot down here, because this is what's going to happen. All you young people that you're realizing that, yeah, this is a bunch of bull crap, but I want to hang around because my parents are here, my friends are here, this is my social community. What's going to happen is 10, 20, 30 years from now, when you really start locking in on your deen and want to practice the right way, and you're really concerned about your hereafter, you're concerned about your children, you're going to be in the same situation as a lot of us, where you're trying to step away from the falsehood, and now your kids and your loved ones are still stuck, and you're the one that's cut off. And now you're really worried about all their hereafters. So
yeah, you got to tear that Band-Aid off now, because I thinking about it now, and it's like I look at my situation and Jaffar's situation. No, I don't want to put you on the spot, Jaffer, but we're kind of like we did the same things, but at different times in our life. Where my oldest child was 2 years old, and I left basically with his mother. So it's like I didn't really have that situation. Now I'm thinking now, if right now I have teenagers, and like if I had to literally be in a battle with them, I mean it would be like devastating. Look how hard it would be. And so my ability to kind of get away and keep my children away was easy, because I was out when they were young. And so they didn't have that that indoctrination and that pull, and then being on the land sometimes and off the land sometimes, and so you had to go a much harder route, as in like you got, at best, you have half the time where you're trying to fix all the cult stuff and the shirk stuff out of them and pull. And so it's like it's an uphill battle. It's almost, I don't want to say it's impossible, but because Allah is the one who has the final say. But if you look at the situation, it's a much harder way. Was it hard for me? Did it hurt for me not to be? I mean, the thing that hurt the most was I didn't get to play basketball all the time with the people who I normally play basketball with. But for the most part, that was the thing that I think about the most. That was hard. Like I did not like that part of it, not being able to just go in, ball with the people I like to ball with. But the thing is, that was a Band-Aid that I had to tear off. Now, had I waited and then have my teenage children literally having like, this is my friend, but your friend is talking about the seven sultan. This is shirk. I mean, but is it really that bad? They're looking at their friend and how much they love their friend, and they can't separate. They can't actually, they can't think of themselves. And this is what a lot of people are going through. They can't think, no, my dad is not going to hell because he believes in the seven sultans. No way. I just can't believe because he's a good person. Listen, these are things that Allah says he's going to throw some people in the hellfire, and he's going to put some people in Jannah. We don't know if we're going to be those people. We only know what Allah says to do to stay out of it. And he know what Allah tells us not to do. And so if we're doing that, we can expect the appropriate action to be taken by Allah. If Allah says, don't associate partners with me, and I'm going to sit here and believe and worship and think about a person being a part of Allah and being created from Allah. Allah says, "Laysa kamithlihi shay," there's nothing like him. And you have people who are, I don't mean to go on a tangent. I'm sorry. But good. If I jump to this Lahoot Lamakan thing real quick, because I know we're getting close.
Good. That was good. It'll be a good segue into that after you got into that. Yeah.
And so think about this, right? And I was thinking about this today. I was thinking my kids' soccer practice, and at soccer practice, I'm really thinking about this, Joan. Like, man, this is like really deep. As I was like, that we were talking about today, and I was like, has Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever said from his lips, Lahoot Lamakan? Has he ever even said it? No. Do we have any hadith mentioning that? No. So if Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, listen, we know Allah already said, "Inna arsalnaka bashiran wa nadiran." He sent him as a giver of glad tidings and a warner. His job was to show us everything we need to get to Allah in the best way. If we follow his exact footsteps, we'll get right there with him. I mean, right with him. So not to say going to be a level of Rasulullah, but you're going to be able to literally be with Rasulullah. You're going to be amongst him in the afterlife. You're going to be with him. So Rasulullah did his job perfectly. Anybody who says he didn't is a kafir. Anybody who says Rasulullah didn't do his job is a kafir, because Allah has affirmed him. Allah has given him his mission. And even in the last sermon, he even laid everything out. And he said that he's calling Allah as a witness, and everybody witness that he did his job. Yep. So his job is complete. It's done perfectly. And he never mentioned this Lahoot Lamakan or any of this concept. He never mentioned it. So for the people to say, yeah, but he kept it a secret. So who the heck are you to give the secret out when Rasul Sallam didn't give the secret? That's like me telling you, hey, listen, this is something, but don't tell nobody. But you're telling people. You're wrong. So even if, which is not the case, he didn't tell you, he didn't keep this secret. Why would he keep something a secret for you to know that would be better for you? If it was good for you, why would Rasul Sallam keep it a secret?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even make sense. So you have this people done in a little speech or the little fable or whatever, and by the account of the Hijra or whatever, they're talking about Lahoot Lamakan and some other times. But this thing is, even before we get into the pure shirk and the Indian Hindu of it, Rasul Sallam never mentioned it. Allah never mentioned it. So it's from Shaitan. Full stop. Whatever you think or believe about it, the person, the one at the end of that string, as you follow the breadcrumbs or whatever, it's like a little thing on a string and they're pulling it and pulling it, you're following it. Where does Lahoot Lamakan finally end up at? It's that nigga Shaitan right there sitting there like, yeah, I got you. Come on, have a seat with me. Jump in the bus. Jump in the back of the truck. You're here now. You made it all the way there. That's who's there.
And then on the day of judgment, he's like, I don't believe in that shit.
He's stupid as hell. That worked on you? The hell is wrong with you? Believe that? I told you.
I mean, like, I'm serious. Shaitan probably is thinking, how are these niggas falling for this? I mean, I don't even know how they're still falling for it. But they keep just like every time he shoots at TMOA, it goes in every single time. I mean, at some point in time, y'all got to be like, really, we're not gonna believe this unless I see it in the Quran. And if it ain't there, well, it better be the strongest hadith ever. To convince you. But it's not there. Rasul didn't mention that. He mentioned everything you needed, but not that. So I'm telling you, if it was not mentioned, if it was not done, if it was not accepted and acceptable understanding and belief, then wallahi, it's from Shaitan. That's the only one who's going to interject something into the religion. That's the only one. Rasul doesn't need to add anything. He's already said, I'm not some new innovation. I'm not a new thing among the messengers. I'm actually coming in a line and a succession, giving you the same thing. It's all the same. This Lahoot Lamakan, and we can break it down, but it's like, it's going into basically pure shirk. And that's the thing. This is the thing that I was thinking about. Every single innovation, every single thing that doesn't originate from the Quran, from the Sunnah, and have sourced in it, wallahi, it leads to shirk. People say, "Oh, it's innovation. It's just a bidah." Every bidah is going to lead you to shirk. Every single one, without a doubt. You will see every single solitary one is going to lead you straight to associating partners directly with Allah. That's what it's going to do.
Even with that, the whole. People have to take their position. Even the scholars have taken their position of what's like, considered okay, permissible bid'ah or, blameworthy bid'ah. There's that whole discussion. But how I look at it, and this is my own personal opinion, bid'ah is like a net, and we're all fish. Whether you want to say it's good bid'ah or bad bid'ah, it's still a net, and so you're getting pulled up in it. It's not going to catch all the fish. Some fish may fill out through the holes or whatever and not fall. But once that neck pulls up, it's pulling up towards, like you said, shirk. Right. And you can look at all of like the big one we just had, the Mawlad. So there's some people that do permissible things during the Mawlad and, keep it to as close as they can to the Quran and Sunnah. But within that group, there's always people that start like, oh, I want to do more. I want to do more. I want to do more. And then eventually it gets to like we have in TMOA, where it's not even about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's about like worshiping their sheikh, right? And that's what it all leads to, even like this Lahoot Lamakan crap. It would be one thing if it was like a language thing, like this is the Urdu word for blank in Arabic, right? Like we say paradise, that's Jannah, right? We're not trying to make up a whole new thing. And this Lahoot Lamakan, first of all, it's a Hindu concept. Right? Hindu concept that refers to the same thing as all these cult type groups all try to aspire to, which is this idea of becoming divine. Becoming divine. Whenever we hear about trying to become divine, right? Like we Buddhists, try to become Buddha, which is divine oneness or like whatever whatever. They all have this. It's the same thing over and over. You keep rising up these levels. Eventually, you become the one, the divine, the pure, the blah blah blah. It's all the same concept. Lahoot Lamakan.
Hey,
In
pull up the.
Islamic
Do we have the definition? The thing. I think somebody posted it early, like in the chat maybe.
Yeah. Yep.
But it was like it was crazy. I was on the move, so I couldn't really address it. But I thought that was so powerful. Where like the actual, like when you actually go into, and that's why studying and seeking knowledge and understanding your religion, the more you understand your religion, what is part of your religion, the quickly you'll realize what ain't part of it. Yep. And this is one of the things, like this literally is someone else's religion. This is a concept. It is a concept that an entire other religion is based upon. That would be like this. Lahoot Lamakan is the equivalent almost of us mentioning like the Trinity, you know what I mean? So it's like that is a concept that is a well-known concept in Christianity. See, y'all don't know nothing about Hinduism. Y'all don't know these things. So, and I'll put myself in that category too. I didn't know anything about it. So when I'm hearing Lahoot Lamakan, I'm just thinking, oh, this is Arabic, some Arabic word, and I'm sure, it's part of the Sunnah or whatever. But the thing is, this is actually an integral part, a focal point of another religion. I mean, he literally led y'all out of Islam to a whole nother religion. I mean,
so here's the definition. The definition of Lamakan in Urdu and Hindi, it means having no dwelling or place, omnipresent God. That's the definition.
Yeah. And so that basically means in Hindu terms, because I've taken classes on different religions, that in Hinduism, that's when you reach enlightenment. You are now one with God. All right. So you no longer have need for the worldly affairs that go on in day-to-day life. It no longer matters to you. You're in this outer body permanent state where you no longer need your physical form. So now you're just part of just God and the universe as a whole. That's what Hindus believe.
So please listen carefully to me, anyone who hears this, because wallahi is so serious. I mean, this joint is so heavy. I was thinking this Lahoot Lamakan was just like, we used to make jokes of it as a kid, like this, it just sounded funny, and we were like, but it's so serious. Like every single thing that this dude did led you out of Islam. Every single thing. Lahoot Lamakan, if we look at the definition is talking about basically if you make it to Lahoot Lamakan, which basically is in TMOA, that's what they say. I want to go to Lahoot Lamakan. It's like some place that they thinking it's Jannah or whatever. But if you make it there, what that means is you became God. Yep. You became one with Allah.
Ya Allah.
You became one with. So this is what it means when you don't even know what you're saying. That's like that's like basically, you know how you see people, like we see it in movies, like you see in movies or whatever, people will do the cross or whatever, and you don't know what it means. Right. Like even as kids, sometimes people will be like, before they're about to do something, like about to shoot a shot to win the game, and they just throw the cross, just because we just looking and seeing other people do it, seeing it's funny. But the thing is, so you grew up saying Lahoot Lamakan, I want them. That's where I'm trying to go. You don't know what you're saying. What you're saying is that you think. And this is part of their religion. They think they're going to become a God. They're going to become one with Allah. Now, go ahead.
Yeah. So the better definition. So there's different definitions, different concepts, a way to define it. But the person summed it up in the room and said, basically, a lot of the hits that I'm getting for Lahoot are coming up as divine, divinity, or of the divine. Also with the meaning of house without boundaries. Then in theory, it could mean the divine home. But that's just English trying to kind of understand. So let's really break it down, because in Hindu, it has Hindi, Urdu, other religions. That's the meaning, right? And you see how it ties into Islam, because you're talking about the house of God, right? Or another way that you can kind of understand it is where Allah is, right? So in Islam, we do have this concept of where Allah is. Allah is where he's always been. So if someone ever asks you, where's Allah? He's where he's always been and always will be. That's it, right? Because you get into, oh, is Allah with us? Is Allah close to our jugular veins? Is Allah everywhere, right? Allah is where he always was and always will be. So anyway, in Islamic goofy Sufi terminology, the people that believe in this stuff, and this is why the falsehood that was taught by Mubarik Gilani is so deep that people get caught on multiple levels. So you can have a person saying, yeah, I'm not getting down with that 7 Sultan stuff, right? They understand that, but then they're still going, asking Allah, Ya Allah, please let me make it to Lahoot Lamakan, right? Or you can have a person say, yeah, I don't know about that Lahoot Lamakan stuff. I don't know. I'm not getting down with the 7 Sultan stuff. And then they can say like, oh, I want to make it to the courts of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All of these are the same exact thing. Every single one of these are all tied in the same thing. I pulled quotes from various discourses from Mubarik Gilani. And so Lahoot Lamakan is allegedly the place of uncreatedness, where Allah is. Allah, right? So whenever you're talking about uncreated, there's only one thing that's uncreated. That's Allah, right? He existed. He's the only thing that existed before creation. Okay, but they're referring to that. So in this goofy, deviant ideology is that a person, a Muslim, could become like, keep rising levels and getting higher and closer to Allah to a point where they achieve annihilation. You'll hear that, right? Or they become one with Allah. Or they reach Lahoot Lamakan. This is all the same concept. Okay, when in the 7 Sultans, we had a whole series on that. We got publications out on it. I'm not going to go into detail, but this in Lahoot Lamakan is supposedly where Allah created Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his mirror, his double, and the 7 Sultans. This is also where Mubarik Gilani says that he goes to the courts of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is in Lahoot Lamakan. And that he also brings, so all these people in TMOA that they have these accounts that we went to the courts of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You supposedly went to, I don't even know how to describe this without being blasphemous, inside Allah. This is what he's telling y'all. So this is why you have to really look at the beliefs and you have to abandon all of this crap. Anything that you learned within TMOA within the last 40 years, and especially anything that you learned from Mubarik Gilani, you have to just like wipe that out and start from scratch.
Absolutely. I mean, even take it to the level, seriously. If you learn that Fajr was 2 rak'ah and Dhuhr was 4 rak'ah from Mubarik Gilani, wipe it out until you can confirm that that is the case. Yep. It is. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, you can take my word for it. Fajr, the Fajr is 2 rak'ah and the Dhuhr is 4 rak'ah. But even to that level, every single thing you can think of about the religion, if you got to think, where did I learn this at? TMOA? Check it. Double check it. Triple check it. You know, because it's a high possibility that it's wrong. And a lot of the things that are wrong, they're leading straight to shirk. Think about this. Just the thing is, once you learn actually the authentic sources in the religion, then you'll realize that this stuff has such holes in it. Like Jafar broke down. Okay, this place, Lahoot Lamakan, the court of Rasulullah, and all this is the same place. They're taking you basically and saying that you are inside Allah, which now what's wrong with that? Allah talked to Musa how? Via a burning bush. Musa did not see him. He sure as heck didn't get inside or close enough to him to where he was in this Lahoot Lamakan place where you're actually inside of Allah. The Yahud, the people, they said that they would never believe in Musa. The people of the Bani Israel in Musa's time, they said, we'll never believe in you till we see Allah face to face. They said, we're not believing until we see Allah, face. We want to see Allah. What happened? Allah actually struck them down. Allah showed them something. They didn't see Allah. And I can't remember exactly what they were shown, but what they were shown, it killed them. They were killed immediately. And so this is to show that no one is seeing Allah, and no one is going to be able to withstand the presence of Allah like that. You're not going to be able to do it. Allah already said that if he were to show himself on this mountain that it would crumble. And all the different things, Aisha radiallahu anha said that, Rasul did not see Allah. She narrated this very clearly. He said he did not see Allah, and he told her that the only thing that he could see was so much light. There was hijab of light or whatever. But the point is, no one can withstand to be able to be, to even see Allah from a distance. Let alone become one with Allah. It's not. It's not possible, and it is 100% shirk. And if you believe it, you're not Muslim. You're some other religion. And if you die believing that, based on the teachings and the understanding from the Quran and the Sunnah, if you die believing that you can become one with Allah, or that anyone besides Allah being the one and only, and that anyone is a part of him or can become part of him or becomes one with him or any of that, it's not Islam. And you will die to death and get the reward of those people who die outside of Islam. And we'll let Allah, who tells you anyone who dies as a kafir, dies as a disbeliever, the only thing he won't forgive is shirk. It's over. It's a wrap. These things, every last one of them is leading you to shirk in the worst way. That is all that it actually did.
As Muslims, like we already had the one sister talking about the Trinity, and it's hard not to believe Jesus isn't God and all that. But when you understand these teachings, you see why they're okay with this stuff. But we, as Muslims, we know the Trinity, God having a son, or like how the pagans, Meccan pagans said God had daughters, or all these different blasphemy things, right? We clearly that's wrong. That's wrong. We that's wrong. How can they believe in this? It doesn't make any sense. Blah blah blah. Right? These beliefs is like the Trinity on crack, cocaine, heroin, meth, whatever any other drug because they're saying that anybody can get to this level, right? So not only did you have the 7 sultans where you have Allah, then Allah supposedly duplicated himself in Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then Allah was so happy about seeing it that he went around it and shook and was trembling. So 7 more sparks came out. So the 7 sultans. So not only you have that, then they're saying, if you keep on, worshiping and doing all these good things, become a great Sufi and all that, you can also achieve this level. So how many people throughout history have allegedly achieved this level to become one with Allah? So now when you become one with something, you become that thing, right? Because there's only one. So how many different versions of Allah are you promoting in this belief? When Allah says, I am one, there's nothing like me. There's nothing even comparable to me. I am Ahad. Like, this is really just, I'm at a loss of words. I mean, who's that? Oh, we got Jawad. Assalamu alaikum.
What's up with y'all brothers? How y'all doing?
Good. How you doing?
Mashallah, mashallah. Jafar, I think you bring up a good point. This is a really good show today, and I appreciate y'all doing what y'all doing. I was thinking about this exact same thing the other day. Because I was zoning on the fact that people always say, when you speak out against a lot of these things, that you hate Ahl Bayt. And the more that you break this down, if anybody really cares about their sheikh, whoever their sheikh is, and you have a sheikh that has done some of the things and has categorized themselves in such a way, if somebody cares for a sheikh that has done some of these things, they would give charity, they would fall on their knees, they would beg Allah tremendously to forgive somebody who has made statements that are completely outside of the fold of Islam. One of the things I think that you mentioned was that, he actually claimed to be part of Allah. I mean, just think of these things. He claimed to be part of Allah. He lied on Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How blatant can you be? He lied on him. I went to the court and we make decisions up there. Like, he actually lied on him. He said, if you don't fear Allah, fear me. Like, if you don't fear tax laws, fear the IRS. Like, as this is some kind of light thing when you talk about people's souls. And people always have a tendency of saying, you have a flaw, therefore you cannot speak. And you're like, wrongdoing is wrongdoing, regardless. And when your job is to lead people and guide them in a certain direction, the people aren't raised in chains because of it. You are. because of the things that you teach them. I mean, these are all these horrendous sunnahs that you start. He lied on Hazrat Ali, one of the greatest men that were ever created. He 100% lied and said Hazrat Ali Quran Waj came and got him. Who says things like this? In the history of Islam, what crazy man has ever said Hazrat Ali skipped all the prophets, all the Sahaba, all the righteous generations, all the scholars that we have today who've been studying 40 plus years of their life, actually studying in university, teaching, traveling around the world, that he came to you? Like, what kind of, like the level of disrespect for Ahlul Bayt, disregard for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shocking. And on top of that, if you don't fear Allah, fear me. Like, when you think about this, if that was your uncle, your friend, your brother, your sister, your aunt, somebody you knew and you actually cared about, you would be on your knees begging Allah to forgive them, because this stuff, Allah says he doesn't forgive these things.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if someone can disagree, I pray to Allah they can disagree by opening Allah's book and disagreeing with the book. Because if you can't, it's shocking. So I mean, I know people that come in like that, like always try to rebuttal anytime I say something about these things. But they can only point out my faults. They can't argue to Allah and to the Sunnah. So, sorry to interrupt the show, but I just want to let y'all.
No, it's good.
Bless y'all. This is a difficult thing, and
brother,
to be this face of what it is that you're doing is a difficult thing to do. It is not an easy thing to do. I mean, Allah reward you for that. I mean, He help you, for the times that the pitfalls and things like that. May He help us all. But shukran for y'all time. I ain't gonna
miss you, brother. Come
I'm
back.
here. I'm here.
We know.
All right,
but you bring up you bring up a good point, and it's evident, and people have saying this, that this fake love for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and Ahlul Bayt. We have done more to defend your Sheikh's family than y'all have. Let's be quite real about this. Y'all abandoned half his family and turned and supported non-Ahlul Bayt. Noor's not Ahlul Bayt. The wives of people that are allegedly Ahlul Bayt will never be Ahlul Bayt. Only the wives of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam were Ahlul Bayt. Nobody else's wife is Ahlul Bayt. Point blank, period. So you abandon to y'all, who Allah knows best if they're actually Ahlul Bayt. We'll assume they are. It doesn't really matter. Y'all abandon them. They're being oppressed, transgressed, not given their rights from their inheritance. Y'all don't care. None of y'all spoke up in their favor. R2F has, right? So y'all established that y'all actually do not love Ahlul Bayt. 2, you have people that like Brother Jawad had just said, that are lying on Allah and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and his Ahlul Bayt. And you people will come, even like the apologists will come and say, oh, you guys are laughing too much. Oh, you're joking on people. Oh, you're doing these different things that are like, it's offensive and this and that. If I came and told someone, they're like, say I went and told Mubarak, I said, or anybody, I'm not gonna say Mubarak's name, anybody, I said, your father is a pimp and your mother's a prostitute, and totally slandered them, you would want to fight me. However, as Muslims, we are supposed to love Allah and Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam more than our own parents. And you have people that are slandering Allah and slandering Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and in us who will get mad at this, are very offended by y'all doing this, and you come to us and you get offended because we giggle, we laugh, we bust a joke, and try to, and like maybe we're even blameworthy for kind of like even making light of these very serious situations and topics that we're talking about, because you guys are slandering Allah and his prophet and his Ahlul Bayt, saying that you're going to become one with Allah, that you have the powers of kun fayakun, that you were there with Allah before creation, and all these different things. May Allah protect us from all this.
And I mean, did y'all see how we were here on the show? Unexpectedly, a guest just jumped on. We were quiet, let him speak, whatever. Made his point. We appreciated his input. And that is the same way that any TMOA friend or foe, you can jump on the show. Doesn't matter what the topic is. So it's an open invitation, just like that. That's a demonstration. It can happen. Nothing's actually. I mean, it's actually easy. You just press the button, and then it will bring you on to the show, and then you can say whatever you want to say. You can defend the seven sultans or try to. We'll listen to it. We cannot. We cannot.
After, yeah.
We can't. We're not responsible for what happens after you get your say your say. We definitely will respond to it, but we would let you come on here and defend or support or whatever. Any of this stuff, we would actually love it. I know we've said it since day one. No one's taking us up on it, but that's just a demonstration. Yeah, you can jump on the show and say what you need to say, similarly to what Jawad did, and then we'll be nice and kind and courteous, and we will respond appropriately as far as we know. But of course, Allah knows best.
And I don't know if we probably run out of time, but I was just looking at some of these quotes from Mubarak
these
Gilani.
quotes are so wild. Oh yeah, like hold on, let me share my screen.
Just pull some things out that you noticed. Like the one I noticed real quick was how he's talking about this achieving this Lahoot Lamakan. I think it's on the second page, where he says, he said it's only the seekers of truth who are committed and have already been exposed to my teaching.
Yes, his teaching.
He just pulled monopoly over it. Like, no, you gotta go through my warehouse to get to this stage. He says it's a stage between life and death. What's the only being that life and death doesn't apply to? Allah. But he's saying, people, you could get that stage too.
Yeah. Like this entire document is just so. But okay, so right here, you had to highlight, right? So listen, he says, this is Lahoot Lamakan. The kingdom of Allah is above all of these things. He is closer to you than your jugular vein. Just look inside you. We are in him, and he is in us. Like
this is shirk.
Yeah.
This is shirk. This is 100% shirk. So Allah is inside you. No, this is shirk. This concept right here. This statement. This is the statement of Mubarak Gilani. This is shirk, and if he died believing it, then his account is with Allah 100%. But this is shirk. Allah knows best.
Hazrat Ghadsul Azam also says, I was with Rasulullah when Kun Fayakun was said. Like, oh yeah, I guess. He also says in the beginning, like, up until Lahoot Lamakan, Prophet Muhammad was known as Ahmed. Beyond that, he is known as something else. However, when he comes here, he is known as Muhammad the praise, the glorified, the prophet, and the guider of the Torah and of the gospel, for whom Allah created everything. Like he is, like
he got a whole mystery name now.
I'm about to say, like, he has a secret agent name when he comes to Earth because he's not in Lahoot Lamakan. Like these are just the things, like. And I'm sure if every discourse from Mubarak Gilani was still available, right? And we could just go to them. Like, he's probably said much more outlandish things. But I mean, at the end of the day, like Jafar Mubarak always said, like, at the end of the day, it is just shirk, right? It's shirk clear as day. But it's just so many accounts. It's like, you know how like they like take folks in for like a murder case, and it's like, okay, well, you have a murder here of this person here. Gilani has like 78 murders of religion. And it just keeps on piling on. It's like, okay, well, the shirk's here, shirk's here. It's like, damn, did you ever just stop?
He's one of those murderers that they give him like 75 consecutive life sentences.
Yeah, it's like no chance of parole, like nothing. You just die forever. Like,
and I mean, one of the concepts, and this is one thing that we have to start mentioning. We really have to start mentioning it and trying to get people to start thinking with the right mindset. And the thing is, when you're thinking with the right mindset, will keep you out of trouble as religiously, without you even knowing for sure what you don't have to know everything. And one of the things in the academy, al-Madrasat al-Umariya, is when they, you know, one of the sheikhs, I believe it was Abdul Rahman Hassan, and he was saying that, or maybe it was Muhammad Tim Humble. I don't know, one of the two. I can't remember which one was breaking it down. I think it was Tim Humble. Anyway, he said that one of the beginning principles, the first principles you learn in being a student of knowledge and understanding religion, is the first thing. It actually was the first one he gave, was that the statements of the scholars, and Mubarak Gilani was not a scholar, but they're considering him one. So the statements of the scholars are not proof in and of itself, rather they require proof. So if your favorite sheikh says the moon is actually Jannah, it's actually in paradise, right? That statement is not proof that the moon is in paradise. It actually requires proof. He should provide the proof. Allah said in Surah Al-Qamar, or Rasul said in Hadith al-Nawawi, or wherever, he provides the proof. That is what the religion is based on. It's not based on the sayings, the words of any man, no one. There's Allah and the last mention of Rasulullah. Those are the proof. Everything that anyone else says after that is based on those sources. So the scholar, the sheikh, whoever you follow, if you just think of this concept, whatever they say, it requires proof in order to be able to take it as a fact in the religion. And now, if you look at this document, it's like, wow, there's no proof for any of this. And actually, there's proof against it.
Yep. So I don't know if you listened to, I believe it was Sheikh Tim Humble, and in one of the introductory courses, he talked about Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani, right? And he talked about, I think it was like one of the pitfalls that people seeking knowledge fall into. And it's a well-known story that Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani actually narrates himself. And he talks about Sheikh Abdul Qadir Gilani, how he's actually a bona fide scholar in Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat, but a lot of people have exaggerated about him. And, you know, we already know the story because you have these Qadri Sufis and all that. They actually don't follow his teachings. But so it's very interesting that in the story, it's a well-known story. So anybody knows anything about Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani should know the story about how he had a dream and Shaitan came to him and like a shining light down from like the heavens and basically said to him, like, you have achieved a station where haram doesn't apply to you anymore, right? And like basically saying, like, you know, you're so holy now, like you could do whatever you want and you're not going to get any sins for it, whatever, right? And then because of the knowledge that Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani had, he was able to see this trap of Shaitan, because he said, oh Shaitan, get away from me. And then everything disappeared, like the lights and all that disappeared. And then Shaitan was like, how did you recognize me? And he's basically said, if halal and haram apply to Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how can I be exempt from, you know, following that? Right. So it's basically it's a story that it's a common trick that, especially with people that are on these like spiritual paths and like that they think they get to a certain level with Shaitan. This is one of his tricks where he believes that you achieve a station where your knowledge is higher, or you know something, that you actually start thinking that the impermissible is permissible for you. And I'm just thinking about this because I'm reading one of these quotes, and whatever your opinion of Mubarak Gilani is, you want to think he's a scholar or a pious, whatever, you also have to accept that he's susceptible to the same traps that even Shaitan tried to pull on Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, right? So because Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani is higher than Mubarak Gilani in your little beliefs, so you have to say, okay, Shaitan at least had to try this on him. And if you believe that, no matter what you believe, of course, we already know that Sheikh Mubarak Gilani is not a scholar or not a saint. But listen to this quote that he says. He says, where did it go? So he says, with the dhikr of who they realize Allah's greatest name, Ismul Azam, and reach a stage where there is neither kufr nor Islam.
Wow.
What does that just tell you?
Yep.
He got caught with it. He got caught with it. Shaitan caught him very early with like, oh yeah, this doesn't apply to you. He believes he reached a stage where kufr and Islam kufr nor Islam applies to him.
So
Guys
wow.
gotta wake up.
Allah says clearly in Quran that no religion will be accepted other than Islam. So how do you get over top of Allah? And that's why we were saying you just have to apply that one principle. It needs proof. I need proof of that.
Yep.
Show me where. The proof is against it every time. But this stuff is like so. It's almost like, I mean, with this Lahoot Lamakan and these kinds, it's almost like I'm hearing it like for the first time. It's like so shocking. Like this is so over the top egregious. Like how in the world in 40 years, no one was like, yo, this don't make sense. Like, all right, hold up. I mean, it's just, for some people, and I know, listen, we're not the first people to be like, yo, TMOA is off it, I'm out. We're not the first people to do that. We're the first people that have really shined a significant flashlight on them and like kept coming at them. But we're not trying to take credit as being the ones who like woke up one day and were like, yo, this is whack, we're out, this is not Islam, gone. Other people have done it. But seriously, for more than 3 or 4 people in a room with functioning brains to go 4 decades, I mean, like nobody was like, yo, this don't, I mean, like seriously, I mean, I just literally, you can have 4 dudes in a car driving somewhere and it don't matter on any topic. At least one of them is going to disagree.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
One is going to disagree. But y'all got like literally thousands or I don't know, hundreds, however many people y'all got. And y'all all agreeing? Nobody's like, yo, maybe we shouldn't kick that brother off the land for, speaking up, for saying we shouldn't be desecrating the grave. Maybe, I mean, nobody, like, everybody's just like, yeah, whatever the sheikh says. Noor is now your sheikh. Your sheikh is a woman. No one is like, yo. And no one after Jummah, nobody after Jummah, I said, literally, I've given a khutbah sometimes and literally direct, I'm talking about between the salah, between the iqamah and the salah, a fight almost broke out where people was like just disagreeing with what was said or whatever. Like literally, I mean, it's like, so, I mean, you mean to tell me that at no point in time after the khutbah, nobody said, yo, I don't agree with XYZ. Nobody? Like after the salah is over, between the salah and the daruz, nobody was like, how do we have a female imam? How is our leader
a woman? Yeah.
A woman? I mean, how are we being led by our woman? How can we even have the respect in our own homes? Like, I don't, this is a phenomenon to me. It's really a phenomenon. Like, I just don't know.
It's that cult mindset. It's that once like, and Amr could probably explain to us better, but like you see videos all the time where they do these psychological experiments, and like it's a difficult thing to understand because our minds are weak but strong at the same time. So it's like weak, we fall for stuff that like there's one simple one where they have people come into like a waiting room and there's a buzzer that goes off and everybody stands up. There's like 2 people just like started off. They're part of the experience. Every time we go to stand up, the people that come in have no idea what's going on, but eventually, like the room's full of people, and everybody's standing up when the buzzer goes off, but they have no idea why they're doing it.
Yep.
And I think like the one I watched, finally after like a bunch of people, one guy was just sitting there like, right, like there was one guy that just like, I'm not standing up. I don't know what y'all are doing, but everybody else was doing it. But that's like that cult mindset, that group think. It's a very strong thing. And then once you get in it, then your mind becomes like strong. I would say your mind becomes arrogant or like tough because then they can't break themselves out of it. Like, no, we have to stand up every time the buzzer sounds. And then you say, why?
Yep.
And they're like, So like, even with this, no, there's 7 sultans and there's Lahoot Lamakan and Shaji is the 6th sultan. And you're like, why?
Yep.
Why do you believe in that? Because he told us. It's like, imagine if the world worked like that. That'd be awesome. I can go into a bank and
Give me
say,
the money. Yep.
I have an account here and I have $3 million in there that I'd like to withdraw. And they were like, okay, we need some support for what you're saying. Yes, I said it. I have a letter written by me, signed by me, and notarized by me. Here you go. Okay, good, sir. Here's your money.
There you go, Mr. Griffin.
I need to verify that your money has even come to this bank. I'm telling you, I deposited $3 million. We don't see the $3 million, but okay, I'm telling you, I put $3 million in this bank. Well, we need some documentation.
Say,
are you calling me a liar?
Yeah. They say, call the bank, and they call, your cell phone rings. Yes, I'm James Griffin. Yes, he did deposit. It's a circular proof, and no one's saying like, wait a minute. No Muslims, the same Islamic studies teachers that we have, the same imams that were there, all these people that were doing all this stuff before Mubarak Gilani came, teaching classes, studying, having whole volumes of Sahih Bukhari and all these different things. No one said, hey, where is the evidence from the Quran and Sunnah for anything that you're saying? Nobody said that at no point in any of this.
I mean, this as you, because this happens on like a lesser scale too. So if you ever like are in college, right? And so let's say that you have a class at like 10:30, right? Generally the students wait outside the classroom and then someone opens the door, right? And generally the door is never locked. But someone, right, one day, I was going to class, right? And he's standing there and like, did you open the door? Like, no, the door's locked. So no one checked the door because we assume he's telling the truth because obviously the door's locked. So we're just sitting here waiting outside of class, right? And it's like 10:30, 10:45, and the professor opens the door. It's like, what are you doing outside? Get in the classroom. It's like, the door was locked. So we just all, it's like 40 of us. We just all believe the door was locked because why would he be lying about the door being locked? So like, you just fall into just these like dumb things just in everyday life. So I can see like, and man, if Mubarak Gilani was like, yeah, nigga, like all y'all going to heaven. It's like, oh, wait, we're going to heaven? But he moved the moon? Like, oh, we're freaking set. So it's like, oh, well, there you go. Stupid as hell.
You know, when Mubarak was talking about how like, you know, people just like accepting like, oh, someone said they saw the prophets there or whatever, and then they know they didn't, but after a while, years go by and they just like told a story in their head, they imagine something, and all of a sudden becomes true. I was thinking about, because I remember hearing two different brothers that were allegedly at the moon moving miracle.
Yeah.
And they told two totally completely different stories.
Of course, yeah, because it didn't happen.
Like one person was like, he slowly moved it across the sky, right? And the next person was like, he was like zipping that shit all over the right?
He was like the conductor, the person in front of the band, just he drew Allah's name in the sky with the moon.
Yeah, he's like, look at that. Name, sir. It's Ahmed Shade. All right, cool. Hey,
hey,
like,
you know
okay,
what?
wait a minute.
Okay, let's get serious for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Stop laughing after you say that. I can't take you seriously.
I seriously was trying to say this with a straight face because I really want them to halfway believe it. But listen, man, we're looking for anyone who actually the eyewitnesses to the moon moving. The eyewitness, it says any eyewitness is still alive. We are going to put on a special show, exclusive show, where the eyewitnesses for the people who witnessed Mubarak Gilani move the moon. We can do a commemoration for him and the event of he moved the moon. We would like to do that. Please, please come forward. Let us know. We will have we actually will not put forth any commentary. I mean, if you don't want, but we would love to have you guys on the show. We'll give you as much time as you need, and really go over and reminisce and relive and re-educate the youth. A lot of the youth, they don't know that, they don't really have a good account of him moving the moon. We would love to put on this show for you guys. Please contact us via email or various numbers, social media, or whatever. We would love to have an exclusive show, the Gilani Moon Moving, or whatever you want to name it. Please, we are standing by and we are ready. I'm serious. I do want to have this show.
That would be amazing if that actually happened.
And to piggyback off of what Mark said, it doesn't just have to be the moon moving. If you saw him do any sort of supernatural spiritual stuff, like I remember I hearing stories about he walked through a metal detector at the airport with guns on him and it didn't go off. And so if you saw him do any out of body stuff, super spiritual, natural stuff, please come on the show and recant us with these tales of your perfect Moshe Hamil, Mubarak Gilani.
No,
Oh,
seriously, we do want to know. I know we got to wrap up, but just one thing I do want to mention because early in the show, the thing about Noor coming to Appomattox or where she's coming to, inviting you to sing Darudes with her. That joint is so cringe. It's so cringe worthy. I mean, the joint is, but hear me on this. And for you people that are even right on the fence, or maybe you're not even on the fence, you're firmly in the camp of TMOA, Noor is your sheikh. I mean, and maybe even in your own homes, instead of you being the leader, the men, you just make your wife the leader and all the decisions go through her. She says, no, don't go out of the house, husband. You sit down, you XYZ, you'll just start flip everything on his head. That's fine. But listen very carefully. This will tell you, this will give you the clue or open your eyes maybe a little bit, the fact that this whole come sing Darudes with her, it's about getting money from you. So you just listen and wait. And maybe they might back off of this now that we're mentioning it very clearly, but they're going to ask you for money. So that's what it's about. And when you hear that call for money, remember our faces and remember this show. And remember that we told you already, just like many other things that we told you were coming. It's not because we're not geniuses, we're not psychics, or not anything like that. But this is just the way that these types of organizations work. They need to keep you indoctrinated, keep you enslaved, and they're not going to do anything for themselves. They're not going to do the work for themselves. The work is getting you to fund their lifestyle, and the funding is running out, so they're going to ask you for money. So when they do, remember us, remember Allah, and then remember us. And so some of these things that we've been saying, maybe you'll say, well, if they were right about this, if they were truthful about this, perhaps everything else they were saying is on point as well.
And just one more thing to add to Mubarak. If you are a single male, ages like 30 and up, do not give your money to Noor. All right, she has more money than you. All right, so your little like feeble dollars that you're gonna go there and be like, oh, I'm here to support the sheikh, but I have to have my dab. I can give money to Noor directly. Oh, here's $100. Like, listen, sir. She does not want you for the most part. All right, she's there only for cash. All right, and she's going to leave and probably never see you again. So you do not think that like this is the time you're gonna go there and shoot your shot at Noor and just swear off her feet. And
someone's gonna get lucky though. Someone's gonna get lucky. Someone's gonna get lucky. All right. Someone's gonna get bagged up by Noor. Trust me. But like Mubarak, I just want to add that, like Mubarak said, is these events, it's what they call love bombing, right? It's part of the scam to keep you in your abusive pattern. Right. So, and again, it all ties back to like, look, you're going to sing Darudes. It's going to be, you're going to be involved in music. You're going to be feeling good. You're going to feel the emotions. You're going to feel all happy that you got to hang out with everybody, sing, eat, have a good time. And you're invigorated.
Wait, Jaffer, you have to bring your own food. That's what it said. It said on the flyer, bring your own food. That's what it said. So they're not even feeding you. You gotta bring your own.
So you're gonna eat your own food. Your Tupperware is gonna be there.
Yeah.
But you're gonna feel good. You're probably gonna have a good time. And you're gonna feel emotionally high, like, oh, this was great. This is and you're gonna associate that with like Dean, like you got all these blessings or whatever. And then right at that moment, like Mubarak said, alhamdulillah, she could probably give a final words. Alhamdulillah, shukran for everybody coming and blah, blah, blah. It's like those at the masjids where they have these traveling speakers and like, like, oh, this one's going to be a money grab, right? Yep. He's coming to speak about whatever, like Palestine or whatever. And then at the end, it's always like, we need money because we're starting a masjid. Alhamdulillah, whatever, it's part of the thing. But Noor's not building a masjid. She's not building the shrine. You guys have separate collections for all that. Just please, just use a little common sense. You guys aren't stupid people. We're all the same people. We are very smart people, but you're not smart if you don't use it, right? Use your minds. Wake up. If any other nigga came to you doing this same crap, you'd like, man, I ain't giving that nigga nothing. I ain't giving him a dime. Like, but because it's these freaking people, you keep falling for the same crap.
Hey, yo, let's do this real quick, man. I know we was probably supposed to finish an hour and a half ago, but still, let me just since we here. I mean, it's a pop up. We here. You know what I mean? I already missed everything that I was supposed to do later, so it's all right. I got the time. Let me just ask y'all one thing, seriously. Listen, let's get serious now. Let's get serious. Okay. If you could be at if you could be at that job, what's the top 10 questions you would ask Umnor? I mean, after the daroos are done, the dinner's eaten and everything, ask her, listen, it hit right after the daroos are over, but before she asks for the money, we got to fire off 10 questions, the top 10 questions. I'll go questions. I'll go first. I'll go first. I'm gonna ask it straight up. Is Noor the seventh sultan? That's what I'm gonna ask straight up. That's gonna be my first question off the rip.
So then mine would be that's a good one right there. 2, is Noor the Mahdi?
Okay,
that'd be the next one.
Okay, and then mine would be whose names were or weren't on the will.
I would be. Okay. Do you have $5 million, or how much money do you have?
Yeah. How much money do you have? Yeah. Okay. And then I would probably ask, I would just ask, can you explain the belief of the 7 sultans in the light of the Holy Quran and the Sunnah? And that'd be a question. Try to get her to explain something Islamically.
I would ask, if your late husband was so great, why were you so afraid of marrying him?
You know, we got to ask. So here's one question. I definitely I'd probably get a lot of different other questions in, but I know my last question would be this.
Matt Gardner.
I would say just like this. Umnor, your husband, or your late husband, your Sheikh Mubarik Gilani, had said that halal marriages is the equivalent of prostitution. Given the fact that you were involved in prostitution, how do you feel about your upcoming your rise to fame from being a prostitute to now the imam of a Sufi cult? That'd be my last question.
That would be
because it's kind of like what's that movie where Julia Roberts was like the prostitute and
what's the Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman, yeah.
I would have to ask her, being that you are the unquestioned leader of all the children, the women, and the men of TMOA, after you, who's second in charge?
That's a good one.
Or maybe I should just say, is Ahmed person in charge?
At one of those, we definitely got to sneak in, like, is she going to get married again?
Yeah.
No, I already got the last question that's going to be asked of her already locked and loaded. I'm just waiting for y'all to finish. I'm gonna tell you what the last question is going to be.
Okay, let me see if I got anything else. So we got the 7 sultans, we got the 7 sultan, we got the question about the Mahdi, we got the question about the money.
How does it feel for you to have such a gifted daughter who is a Dr. Hafiz YouTube star at the age of 19? All right. I also hear that she's also a fighter as well. So how does?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Quite the accomplishment you have there as a mother.
You can tell they're not 100% Packy. They got some black in them.
Yeah. Straight.
Man.
I'll be like, yo, is the jinn who gave your brother the hands that time, is he still the jinn who two-piece Hussein Adams? I mean, are you what was your thoughts and feelings hearing that your brother took a real whooping from a jinn?
You know what? Seriously though, one of the questions that has to be asked, and this will probably expose a lot for people in TMOA, is what are your plans for TMOA for the next 10 years? Because there's no plan. It's just keep whatever we can do to keep the money coming in. There's no long-term like infrastructure plans, like dawah plans, like nothing.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, no, and to get serious for 1 second, is that's a very good question. And someone at that Darude session really needs to ask that, because that's how they do the politicians, right? What is your plan? What do you hope during your term? And her term is basically going to be till whenever she dies. Then probably probably the girl with the Rolex is going to take over. But the thing is, what can we expect a year from now, 4 years from now, 10 years from now? What are we going to see? And if she can't tell you anything, that means she doesn't have any plans for you. Really, the plan is for you to keep paying money. If she can't tell you, yes, we're planning on building this, well, they did say they were planning on renovating the school, but besides that, like, what's the plan for any of the development? The people, I guarantee she doesn't have it. But
and she might come up with something off the hip, some, because politicians are politicians. But what it'll do is it'll show you very clearly when she's full of crap. Because you'd be like, for instance, one of the things that Mubarik Gilani would say is our top priority is education. And then when you ask the question, like, okay, can we use the membership dues to help build schools? Absolutely not. So that's not your top priority.
Like, if I wasn't on the R2F show, I would be happy to just drive down there, all right, and be a part of it and get all the information to y'all. But unfortunately, I can't. So if anyone is going to attend that is like on the fence, or you're like secretly down with R2F, if you can like get a recording of all the things that transpire, because they're gonna like give me your phone. So if you could just like, I don't have a phone on me, that's at the house. You can just have your phone and they're recording it and get us all the nefarious deeds and stuff.
I will buy dinner. I will cash app you money for dinner.
I'll make you food.
If someone, that's even better. Amr will make you food. If someone can get us some type of footage from that.
Yeah, listen, provide us with the receipts of your gas and your time or whatever the minimum wage is in your county, we'll double it. For whatever time it takes you to do the operation, we'll pay you. We'll put you on the payroll.
We got all this Wahhabi money.
Yes, sir.
The Saudis, we're already most wanted. But you know what I would do? I mean, the last question I would definitely have for her is, I would go outside first. But there's probably no gardens or anything there it's not on the land, so I probably would be able to find a rose. I would find a rose. I would stand up.
This nigga's so stupid. How I know you're gonna ask this question?
I can't even say.
All I'm picturing is the guy from Mike Tyson's Punch Out that comes out with the rose at his
This Mubarak
is like, yo, Umnur, will you marry me?
Wait, I just looked up the location. So it's a trailer, right? So this Mubarak is gonna be outside the trailer, right? Like right here on one knee with a rose, like, would you marry me?
Oh we can consolidate TMOA and R2F.
Combine the two.
Oh my God,
man! We'll go with that money.
Lady.
I mean, because if you think about it, this Mubarak has been subtly like giving us hints that like he's trying to find someone who's a millionaire.
Don't make me sing the song. A whole new world.
Mubarak's gonna get married. The next message that comes out. All right, kids that are 5 that can walk must be working at some business, paying 30%.
Yo, all the kids in the daycares need to be running the pockets of the other kids and bringing back something.
Taking a percentage cut of the bullies. Oh my God!
But seriously, as I like this exercise you did, because what we just did for you people in TMOA, you guys have to be doing similar stuff in your own context. Because if you really care about your community, you have someone like you had no access to your sheikh, Mubarak Gilani. He was in Pakistan. You could only like maybe write a letter to admin and maybe they would give it to him or not, whatever. You have Noor, because she's trying to keep this stuff together. She's actually coming to y'all, gonna be here. So one test is you should come up with like 2 or 3 questions. Test the waters. Just serious questions, not stupid questions, serious questions about your future about your guidance, your spiritual guidance, stuff that relates to that, right? One, the first test is if you actually get access to ask her a question. If she denies access and you can't even get access to her, then technically she's not even your sheikh, according to like Islamic standards, because you have no access to her. Two, if you do get access to her, really put some pressure on her with some real serious questions that actually mean something for your future, your family's future, and everybody else's future. Like y'all should go there and ask her, why does my 16-year-old have to pay percent? Explain to me the logic behind that. Why do we have to pay percent at all? Where does the money go and what do you use it for?
Yep.
Why do you live in Pakistan when we all live over here? Your husband's not keeping you hostage anymore.
What happened to the school that we raised 75K for and then 5K for? That never happened. What happened to IQAU University that you just started randomly? What happened to Noor Academy? What happened? Why'd you send 11 niggas overseas to go do relief fund? We could have gave the money to the people in Pakistan.
They raised money. They raised money to send these niggas to Pakistan, and then immediately we need money to operate.
You should have used the money for that.
What kind of leadership do they got going on here?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
I do have any questions?
They want to know when Mubarak's gonna do his interview.
Oh
yeah.
You know what? I was thinking we could talk about this in the room, but I was thinking that starting in the new year, and we talked about this before, like at the beginning of the R2F show, is that the R2F show, we do it live, but we will not have it the full show be available for everybody to watch, and then we only publish clips.
Yep.
Something like that, so that we can drive more participation in the actual live show, and maybe create some more content just by producing relevant clips or whatever, something like that. And I think there's something on maybe in the YouTube features, or that we can do like shows that you have to subscribe for or register for, or something like that.
Memberships, yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed, like, I was just looking at some of the shows and their views and all that, and when people view them, and like when people engage with them, and people are like engaging with them like weeks after we already have the show, like when we're not even paying attention to that topic or anymore. But that's one thing. So like if we do that, people, if they're watching this now, this is a sign that if like you may want to start tuning in when we're actually live, and if you want to actually get feedback or actually contribute, especially you guys that are in there trolling, the trolls are getting a little bit more bold. At least some people are trolling in their real names now. Maybe people are getting up courage that actually Islam dates cream, but maybe people are getting the courage. Maybe somebody will have the courage to actually come on the show and defend their beliefs, so we can really show how false this stuff is. But I don't know. I think some things need to change in the new year about how we put our content out there, what type of content we cover. But yeah, we could do Mubarak's interview whenever he's ready.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I'll find a day to knock it out.
Hey.
She's been trying to get on the show for a while now.
Hey.
Her first words is gonna be shirk.
Second word, bidah.
You want a yogurt? Shirk. Bidah.
Oh man.
So I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Damn, we went in tonight.
Yeah, man.
A lot of things have to be covered though, so I mean, you can't really like blame us.
Once you go past a certain point, it's no point in
having time limits. Yeah, it's just go until you're finished. So that's next week then, probably, because we
might be able to. Yeah, I think next week we had scheduled the conditions of the lands.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know. We might be able to
newsflash, all of them are ghetto. There you go. That's the show. That is the show. They're ghetto currently. They've been ghetto, Folks don't take out the trash regularly. Anyway.
How about
Those are
this? So
always trash.
how about if y'all want us to have a show this coming Thursday, because we might have to skip Thursday since we've been on. Next Thursday, someone get us that footage from y'all Nasheed party.
Yeah, there you go.
And we'll do a show for y'all on Umnor's Nasheed party.
But please, if Umnor's daughter is singing, I do not want to hear that footage. All right.
Yeah, you can skip that. You want to hear it?
Yeah, man.
Nor didn't even want to hear it.
Yeah.
This nigga Nor said, hell no, I'm sick of your shit.
I actually don't want to hear any of the Nasheeds. I just want to hear the speeches or the things that said in between. I can't take Jamaat Nasheeds at all.
Yeah, no, I don't want to hear none of that mess. No.
But
you still got some ground to make up as I have passed you in the
how have you passed me when you're just on a random troll?
Listen, man, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules, man. I'm just somehow I'm ahead of you now. It's me, Jaffa, and a few others, but you heard number one. So I mean, you're gonna need to do something. We're gonna give you the opportunity to I don't know, but you're gonna have to.
You know what he could do?
Because you slip.
You know how these people make these little like videos. They go to protests and they stand out with a sign and just interview people. So you go to the Nasheed party, stand across the street with a sign. You're in a cult. Prove me wrong, and see if they comes to us interviews.
Stop it, Johnny. I think my spot's secure, Mubarak. All right, I'm chilling. All right.
Listen, man, the official. Listen, this is how we get the rankings. The rankings are done by bogus posts and wanted posters and whatever, and that's how we know. That's how we know who's in the lead. And based on the last bogus, troll attempt, I mean,
Brian Mora, you and Jaffer are top 3. And Hanif, top 4.
The APA rankings currently.
I haven't lost yet, but I still put the rankings.
Hey, listen, you haven't lost, but you still slipped in the rankings. I'm just telling you. I'm just informing you.
All that needs to happen is that someone leaks the R2F chat logs and then I'm number 1 forever. All right. So all that needs to happen.
I mean, listen, I jumped you in the ratings and I had a bye that week. I was on a bye week and still jumped you in the ratings. I mean, I don't even know how that happened. It's kind of embarrassing for you.
No. I think what it is that they have the freaking voter fatigue, right? You know how like LeBron can win MVP every year? So like I'm on every show. So like eventually they're just tired of me just giving the same 27,
he's like the new face. He's
a
new foreign white player. So that's like an MVP.
Yeah. So this man Mark, he's kind of here, he's kind of not here. He's late, he shows up when he wants to, but he gonna give you 40 points. All right. So, I'm just here because
he's like Kyrie. He's basically Kyrie.
Yeah, Kyrie. He plays when he wants to, bro. Anti-vax too. This man.
Oh man.
All
right. Let's close this out. Who you got us, Amr?
Sure, yeah. اللهم ارزقني تفكري وتدبري بما يتلوه لسان من كتابك وفهمه والمعرفة بما آنيه والنظر في العجائبه أما بذلك ما بقيت إنه على كل شيء قدير سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.